Hello and welcome to the late version of episode 16 of English User TV. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of English User TV. This week's show is all about the festive season, that is, Christmas. So, we're going to go Christmas shopping today. So, of course, we have Christmas shopping dialogues. We have the expression of the week. We have website of the week. We have the podcast of the week. And, of course, we have this week's to-do list. And now, before we go any further, let's have a message from our sponsor. Okay, so as I said, we are going Christmas shopping in this week's show. So coming up is our first dialogue on Christmas shopping. And here we go. We have, excuse me, hello, how can I help you? I was wondering if you have this in a larger size. I'm sure we do. Just a moment, I'll check for you. Thank you. Here you are. Okay, so can you imagine where this conversation is likely to take place? Well, yes, of course, this conversation is going to take place in a department store or some kind of clothing store, I guess. Larger size, that would suggest clothing. So, excuse me, that would be you. Hello, how can I help you? That would be the store assistant or manager, if you're lucky. I was wondering if you have this in a larger size. I'm sure we do. Just a moment, I'll check for you. Thank you. Here you are. So, here we go. Excuse me. And hello, how can I help you? I was wondering if you have this in a larger size. I'm sure we do. Just a moment, I'll check for you. Thank you. Here you are. And of course, a larger size, you might want it in a smaller size or something else. So, if we go to the vocabulary, you can see the different variations on this particular dialogue. So let's just go now straight to the dialogue. Okay, so here we go. This is the vocabulary from this one. Do you have this in a different color? Do you have this in a different style? Do you have this in a different size? Or do you have this in a smaller size? So we have do you have this in blue? Do you have this in red? Do you have this in pink? Do you have this with long sleeves? Do you have this with short sleeves? Do you have this in a different size? Do you have this in a smaller size? So we have different variations on this particular way of asking in a department store. So, do you have this in a different color? Do you have this in a different style? Do you have this in a different size? So could be smaller or larger. So there's many different ways of asking for something in a store. Okay, so we're moving on quite quickly this week, and before we move on, I would just like to say I apologize for the late arrival of this week's show. Christmas parties and various other things got in the way last Sunday. So Sunday is usually the day we record English User TV, and unfortunately we got stuck with partying and whatever else we do at Christmas. So, let's move on now anyway. I think it's time for Website of the Week. Okay, this week's website of the week is actually one of my favourite websites. It's the first website I check every day. This comes from a guy called Seth Godin. Seth Godin is what can only be described as a marketing guru, a marketing expert from America. And his blog, which he updates several times a week, sometimes has long posts, and sometimes he writes just a few lines. But in an effort to get you guys to read something in English every day, this guy is worth reading. He's full of information, some fantastic ideas. So check him out. Seth Godin's blog, you can Google him at Seth Godin, and I'm sure you will find it. Or you can type in http://sethgodin.typepad.com/Seth's_blog/. However, I think it might be just a little bit easier to Google Seth Godin, and don't worry, this particular link will be on the website with the show notes. So there you go. That's this week's website of the week. My favorite blog, Seth Godin's blog. Amazing information on his website, worth checking out. So there you go. That's Seth Godin's blog. Okay, continuing from last week where we introduced a quick tip of the week, I think it's time for another quick tip. Don't you just love those graphics? They are fantastic. Anyway, this is this week's quick tip. Where are we going? I don't know why we got the music. We've got music. Okay. Oh dear. We always seem to have some kind of technical difficulty in this show. Okay, here we go. And we've also got a spelling mistake. Fantastic. Okay. Let's just take this a bit slowly. To improve your pronunciation or your intonation, watch an English TV show. Not what an English TV show, but watch an English TV show. So, to improve your pronunciation or your intonation, watch an English TV show. Try to imitate. Listen to the rhythm. Listen to the way they speak. It's a great way to learn English, a great way to start sounding natural. So, to improve your pronunciation and or your intonation, then all you need to do is watch an English TV show. Okay, let's hope for no more technical difficulties this week. We always seem to have technical difficulties. I have no idea why. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move now into our Christmas shopping dialogue 2.